y'all, it's Dan Book Nook Noggin here with another book review, and this time I'm here to review The Night Silver River Run, read by Christine Morgan. This is my first splatter western. This is actually my first western ever. I've never really read westerns before, so I wasn't entirely sure what I was getting into. And to be honest with you, I'm not opposed to reading westerns. It's just that I've never, had the desire to really want to read one. And it's funny because, I totally am down for watching, contemporary western films. There's quite a few of them out there that are done really well. But enough of that, let's get back to this book. Now, this is a splatter western, and I had to kind of Google to figure out what exactly splatter, splatterpunk meant, because I'm not too familiar. I've been reading horror fiction since I was about 12 years old, and I'm in my 40s now, so it's been a long time. I've been reading lots of horror, but I never really, came across this term, a splatterpunk, until just recently. But I guess it's like an extreme kind of extreme horror, where there's no holds barred. And this is a perfect example of that. It's kind of along the lines of that book that I read by Lucas Mangum, the Gods of the Dark Web. It was kind of along those lines. So I'm going to have to say that there are trigger warnings for this book. There's trigger warnings for the murder of children, especially infants. There is one scene that involves the murder of an infant. There's also discussions of rape, although they don't really, they lead into it, so you have to use your imagination. You know what's going to happen, but the author does not, go into the scene. They kind of cut scene, but just the whole idea of rape is there. So those are your trigger warnings. This is roughly around 220 pages. It's a little novella, and I know that there's 9 of these put out by Death's Head Press. I'm definitely going to have to go check out some more of these, because this was really, really good. At first it was kind of slow, and I wasn't sure about the authenticity of having that historical kind of feel. Is this going to be done well, or is it going to be cheesy? And I think that, after a little while, I started to get into this, and I started to really enjoy it. I will say that at the very start, the author kind of introduces way too many characters. There is a huge info dump where you're just meeting all these people and hearing all these names. There's just so many names and so many people. And then the fact that it goes along and, things start to progress. It's just like a roller coaster. It starts to progress really slowly, and then once it gets started, there's no holds barred. Okay, so I wanted to pull up the synopsis for this book because I had a digital copy of this, so I want to make sure that I don't give away any spoilers. But the synopsis basically tells you about how these kids sneak out to see this visiting freak show that's come to Silver River. And okay, there isn't much else by way of excitement in quiet, peaceful Silver River, a once prosperous boomtown slowly gone bust. Worth risking a whipping for sure. Worth risking life and limb, maybe more. Worth risking being ripped to pieces by ravenous inhuman brutes. Worth crossing paths with those strange silent cult folk from the High Valley. Worth all the fire and bloodshed and horror and death, because something far worse than any ordinary traveling show has come to town, and one thing is for certain: those who survive, if any, will never forget the night Silver River Run red. Okay, now that I know what the synopsis says, I know what I can and can't tell you about this book. But yeah, that's the whole idea. You're kind of introduced to this freak show, this traveling freak show. These kids they creep in to see what's going on. One thing leads to another. They're kind of spotted trying to peep a look at the traveling freak show. And then from there, one thing leads to another. And then by the end of the book, it is all out bloody massacre. That's all I'm going to say. But it was so well done, guys. I gave this a 4 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. Very much worthwhile checking out. I'm going to have to go back because there's like 8 other books so far in this Splatter Western series. And I know you can read them out of order. They're not like chained, like they don't fit into a bigger whole story. They're just each individual, like, on their own. They just happen to be numbered and released by Death's Head Press, so it doesn't matter if you read one before another because they're just all standalones. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think I may have read Christine Morgan's works before, a short story from her. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It's definitely worth checking out, and it's going to make me want to go check out some more books of this series because it was that good, guys. And yeah, I can't say too much more about it, but I gave it a 4 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. Definitely check it out. For those of you guys in the U.S., I will have a link to Amazon. I'm also going to try to throw down Death's Head Press link too, so that way you can check out all the other books they have to offer. For those of you guys, international folks, you can shop through their direct link, or I'm going to try to find it on bookshop.org. And if you got something from watching this video, please buy me a coffee or two. I could use the energy and the motivation. If you came here looking for book reviews and book recommendations, please, by all means, hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit that notification bell. This has been Dan. This was The Night That Silver River Run Red by Christine Morgan. Stay healthy and be good to each other.